everyone, Karen here, and today we are doing number 6 for 6th birthday. So here are all the pieces, just like I've done before. Cut everything out. So you'll go down below, hit download the SVG, upload it to your machine according to your machine's directions, and then cut it out in the colors you choose. So what we have here, we have a 6, which I chose to do in a print paper this time. I am going to use black for the background, and I've already stuck foam on that because I've already decided where I want to put my foam. I then did the background layer in white, but you could do that in any color you want. Here is my card base, which will print out like this, and you will just fold it down the middle. And this is the inside, which has a mat, which do it in any color you want. And here is the 6-year-old and standing tall, I hope your birthday is a ball for the inside. So this will go together. Now for the front of the card, I have a happy birthday, which has a mat. And here I put foam on the happy birthday and on the back, where I'm going to put 2 layers of foam on there. And this time I did it to where I printed it. I did this as the print and cut, just like when I did the inside of the card, instead of gluing the letters on. Just, make it a little different each time. So there's that. But you absolutely could separate these two, just ungroup them, and then you would just cut out the letters individually if you want to put them on separately. So then there is a party hat, and I will tell you the party hat does have a front and a back. It is not symmetrical. We'll cover that in a minute. And then I have the 2 stripes that are in the hat, and there is a white pom-pom from the top. And then I have 2 sets of balloons in red, green, and blue. All right, so let's get started. So let's start with constructing the inside. This is always the easiest part to do. Let me grab my glue. And we're just going to glue this down. Got a little dry glue on there. Let me get that off. And just put some glue of your choosing, whatever one you like. I like Collal glue, just because it doesn't warp the paper. So we're going to glue this down here. And we will let this dry. That will be for the inside. All right, so now let's take our card base. Put this over here so we can keep track. Now this is the shadow. That is the whole front of the card, including where the balloons and the hat goes. So we have our numbers here, and then this is the card base. So I'm going to work on this first, and then I will attach it all to the card base. So I'm going to put foam on the shadow layer here. So I'm just going to glue this straight down, the 6. But if you wanted to, you absolutely could put foam on both pieces. But with the black, I thought I would make it just look like it's outlining the inside part. Now remember, I use 1/16 foam. So that means you can have 4 layers and still be within your parameters for the post office here in the United States, because you are allowed a 1/4 inch. Now I will say, if you're putting embellishments and things on your cards and you're afraid something's going to get caught, just take a thin piece of cardboard, or a heavy piece of cardstock, a 300 GSM. Just take a square and put it over the front of your card, and that will give the machines a smooth surface to go over, and that way it won't pull anything off your cards. So now here I have the 1/16 foam here, so this is going to go on here like this. So let me pull the tape off. And this is the iCraft foam. I really like it. The backing comes off nice and easy. Now I'm going to center this. Now there's going to be a little bit of space around this. So just put it on here where you have an even white space all the way around, or whatever color you're choosing. So now that will sit in on here like this. So now next I think I'm going to take the hat. We will get the hat done. So for the hat, we have the hat base. We have a green stripe, I have a red stripe, and I have the pom-pom. So to make this just have a little bit more interest to it, and to cover the white core paper that I'm using, because once again I am using the Kingston paper, I am just going to take my brush and use what's left on here. This is my blue one, and I'm just going to cover that over a little bit. I also am going to do that with the balloons, and that does give the balloons a little bit of dimension. And I did do it with the green. Might be hard to see on the camera. No, you can see it. Where this is slightly darker than over here. And that just gives it a little bit more depth when you put it on. Now there is a front and the back to the green, because as you can see this is more narrow than this is. So this is going to slide down here until you see where it's going to fit. So I would just lay these on here first, get all your placement. Now the red one, there is a little tiny little spot here where you can see where the red goes. And then the green will go down here. And then the pom-pom will just go on top. So I'm going to get my fine tip glue. And this is the Karen Burniston bottle. I really like this bottle a lot. And I'm just going to take some glue, put it on the back, probably way too much. And I am going to put this on. Now this is kind of an oval. So let's put it on here. So there is a top and a bottom to this. And we'll just slide it on where it belongs. There we go. So it just sits on there like that. Like that. All right, so now we will put some glue on the back of the red, which is the top stripe. But you know, you can cut these out in any color you want. You do not have to do it in the color I'm doing here. And just take that and just tap the sides like this to make sure it's nice and flush, and it will slide right into the correct place. Now I will go along the green one, which is on the bottom here. Now I'll do the same thing. Now with the hat, if you look at it, you'll see this side looks slightly shorter than this side over here. This side is shorter, this side's longer. This is the front. Now this here will need some foam because I have one layer of foam here, so I need to put one layer of foam on the hat. So let me grab a piece of foam. And I will put it up here. Cut this off. Let's check my placement here. So when I put the hat on, I want this side of the hat to fit flush over here with the top of the 6. And then the right hand side will hang down a little bit. And it just made it look like it was sitting on the card a little bit better than when I put it straight. When I put it straight, it just didn't look like the 6 was wearing the hat. It just looked a little funny. So that's why it has an angle to it. So now I'm just going to line it up on the bottom. I'm going to hold where the tape is on the back, the foam. I'm going to make sure that's not touching. I'm going to line it up here. Make sure my sides are even. And we will put that down. All right, so there's that. So now we have our happy birthday. So this, I have 1/16 foam on the back of each piece here. And this, you can do it flat if you want. You can put foam on one of the pieces if you want. I just decided to do 2 this time, just to make it look a little different. Now here, I did go over the red paper a little bit to get rid of the white core. We line that up. All right. That here. Let me attach the happy. Move this up here. All right, so there's the happy and the birthday. All right, and the birthday is going to come down here once we get the balloons on. So I'm going to put the balloons on first. So first let me grab the green balloons because I want to show you what I'm doing here. So let me grab the green ink. And for the green here, now this is the green from the Kingston paper. So I will tell you that the green I'm using here to cover over the top of it is grass green. So let me grab my scrap. Bring in some scrap here. Move that over. And I am just going to quickly, let me put this back in the container here for a second. And I'm just going to go over the one side to make it just a little bit darker, and it gives the balloon just a little bit of shading. And then I'm just going to quickly kind of go around the edge here just to get rid of the white core paper showing through. And I did that with each of the colors. Let me bring this back in. All right, so we have the green, one for each side. I have a blue for each side and a red for each side. Now where these balloons are going is you're going to have 3 over here and 3 over here. So you can see here where the 2 balloons will line up here, and then the third one you just kind of put where you want it. This one over here has an edge for 1, and then you can put the other 2 the way you want them. All right, so I am going to put, let me grab a little piece of foam. So I am going to want just a tiny little piece. Stick that in there for a minute. Over here, because I have a 1/16 foam underneath the 6 here, I'm going to want some here to make this flat. So I'm going to peel this off, put a little bit of glue on the other side. So I'm going to put glue on this side, because when I flip it over, that's where it's going to be. I'm just going to turn this a little bit so it's a little easier for me to line it up. And we're going to put that right there. So now that will be flat, and it will be supported, so it won't sag down. So then I think I'm going to put the blue in here, and I'm going to put the green one in the front. I think that's what I'm going to do. So the birthday is going to go here. So let's see, do I want them on foam, or do I just want to leave them flat? I think I will leave those flat. So I'm just going to glue these down. I'll put this one over here. This won't be down here. Now I'll take the birthday, and remember I put 1 layer of foam here, and 1 layer of foam was here. Now because this is going all the way down to the base of the card, I did need to put a 2nd layer of foam on the end here behind the Y, so it wouldn't be floppy. So you can see when you're looking at this, behind the Y has 2 layers of the 1/16 foam. So that's going to come down here, and we're just going to line this up with the space that's sticking out here. And that goes on the bottom. You know what? I may stick just a little piece of foam behind the top of the balloon, just to make it look like it's coming out from behind the happy birthday, now that I'm looking at it. There. And that's something you can do, is always you can put foam on half of an item. And generally I like to put it toward the top of an element. And it just gives it a little bit of shape to it and a little bit more dimension and texture. But now let me hold this up really close. Now it does look like the balloons are coming out from behind the happy birthday. And all I did was put a very small piece of foam just on the top, and the bottom is glued down flat. All right, so all we have left are the 3 balloons over here and the happy. So here again, I think I will put the green balloon on top, maybe the red one over here. No, I think I'm going to put red on top to keep it separated from the happy. That's going to be down below it. And then the blue one over here. All right, so I will need a little piece of foam for the top of the red. That's going to sit up here. And we will put glue on the bottom. As you can see, I already put some red ink on this. So this will come over here. Let me turn this so I can see what I'm doing here. Now the foam was sticking out just a little bit, so I'm just going to take my scissors and poke it back underneath there. Easy enough. So now the green balloon, I think I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to put a little bit of foam on the top, just like that, but I'm going to glue the bottom flush. And this fits in this groove over here. This little part that sticks out here is where that balloon goes into. There's that. And this third balloon doesn't really have an edge, so you can just kind of put it wherever you want. Let me grab a little piece of foam for the top of this balloon. Just so it's consistent with the rest of it. Take that off. And I'm going to put this one about here. And that will stick down. You can see that will take a second for it to grab hold. But once it does give your card some nice dimension where the balloons do look more three-dimensional. Now this happy is just going to get glued down here. I'm just going to take the foam off the back. Remember we had the 1/16 separating each of the rows. And then I'm going to cover the two stems of the balloon and come up to where this little space is here just to cover that. And that will go on the top. All right, so that's the 6. The 6 is all finished now. So let's take our card base. So now this is going to be flush with the card base because this have the same shape. The difference is, just like in the other cards, is that it's going to hang over a little bit to finish it off because you can't attach the front and the back together. You would have too much gap here and you wouldn't have anything to attach it to. So that's why you end up having to have this little piece here in the front sticking off. So let's get some glue. We'll glue this on. I think my bottle's almost empty. Make sure we got some at the top. All right. Over here. Now this is going to be flush, so I'm just going to stand this up. Make sure it's flush on the bottom, flush here, flush on the top. Just run your fingers kind of around it, make sure it's all lined up. Kind of go like this. Okay, so there's the front of the card all done. So now all we have left to do is to glue the inside. This now has had plenty of time to dry, so we're just going to put some glue here. Now, how many of you looking at this think it looks like a fish? I think it looks like a fish. Now I'll put this in here. And there we have it. Number 6 in the books. Shape number 6, and it stands up just fine. So there it is. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, give me a thumbs up. And subscribe if you haven't already subscribed yet, because we still have 7 through 10, and then 13, 16, 18, and 21 to do in this series of SVG cards. And until next time, stay crafty.